All right, good morning, everyone. It is 8:53 in the morning of October the 12th, 2021, and this is my trading strategy session. The first thing that I have up today is NutraBrand Incorporated, and they are catching a bid this morning on news they signed an exclusive manufacturing agreement for a COVID-19 indicator patch. It's a small cap. I always thought NutraBrand, I don't know, maybe I was thinking of the wrong company, but I always thought they were like a lot bigger and incorporated with like Kellogg or, General Mills or something like that. But okay, so what we have going on here today, I guess I'll start off on the 10-minute. So this is the pre-market, this yellow shaded area is the pre-market activity. And it looks like it opened up around $7.80 and now has made a run. Tagged, pushed through 11, then is getting kind of rejected here at 11. $11 happens to correspond with a recent peak here. I imagine it will, if this is a small cap, it only has 6 million shares outstanding. Let me check the scanner real quick to see what the float is. I think the float is something similar. Oh, and the float is only 3.5 million shares. It's already traded 5 million shares this morning pre-market, 5.2 million shares pre-market. So $11 looks like it's going to be the first barrier for it to break. But also at the same time, my recent experience with small cap momentum is that like Wall Street, the exchange, somebody put some kind of crazy algorithm on this thing, and it just turns into a choppy mess. And the best momentum trades are pre-market before the bell rings. The best time to trade, these things, according to momentum rules, is pre-market. And then after the bell opens, it like loses. It loses the momentum. The momentum trade is dead. So this morning, I actually traded 500 shares this morning for the break of, I was in a little bit late here, actually. So it was I bought it $10.18. So yeah, right here. So I bought the break. I got a decent fill. And then it went up as high as 1061, and I sold it before it turned red on me. I made $100. So I made 20 cents. I sold it at $10.38. And so then, that's momentum. This is how momentum works. Here's the run up, the pullback, then the break of the pullback, and there's your entry, 966. Run up, pullback, then break of the run up, and there's your entry at $10.65 for a move up to 11. So that's working well pre-market. I don't think it's. I think it's just going to turn into noise after the bell opens. It's on watch. It's the leading gapper. It's it's doing its thing. We'll see what happens at the bell. But recent history has shown that this thing, these small cap gappers, small cap momentum plays just turn into mush and are extremely difficult to trade profitably. So we'll see what happens. All right. Next up, Tata Motors. Now, Tata Motors just filed let me pull it up, Form 6K, Report of Foreign Issuer pursuant to Rule 13A-16 under the Securities Exchange Act. I did not know that Tata Motors owned both Range Rover and Jaguar, or Land Rover and Jaguar. And so apparently Tata Motors Group global wholesales at 251,689 vehicles in Q2 of fiscal year 22. That's strange. They must do October 12th, 2021, the Tata Motors global wholesales in Q2 fiscal year 22. I guess they're on some kind of weird fiscal schedule, whatever. Including Jaguar Land Rover, were at 251,689 vehicles in OS, higher by 24% as compared to Q2 fiscal year 21. So this stock now here on the daily, you can kind of see there's a really small line here for the pre-market price. So it's impressive, but it's gone parabolic. Let me pull some of this stuff out so it's a little bit easier to see here. So I mean, the stock it's really gone parabolic. Now that doesn't mean that it has to stop. I mean, it can certainly keep going. It did consolidate. Let's see, from February of 21 to, we'll call it September. So it did consolidate for about 7 months, 6 months, 7 months. So this move that it's making could last for 6 to 7 months. And looking back here, I mean, it did make a high back here in 2015. Made a high of 70. Let's see if I can get on it. 51.80. All right. You know, and let's see back here. 44.79. And come over to this peak over here. This is kind of the last peak before the sort of long dip. And then there's the end of 2020. Yeah, so this thing looks like it's making a bit of a comeback here. Definitely going parabolic right now, though. And the moves like this tend to correct, unless they get up high and then start to consolidate. So it's the second leading, it's not a small cap, but it's the second stock that I have on watch today. So what can I expect? I really don't know. I mean, I have not, other than looking at this chart. There's really nothing else really that I know about trading it. A chart's nice and everything, but it takes a little bit of experience trading a stock sometimes to really get the sort of to know it and know how it's going to trade. And there are people who concentrate on trading just one stock sometimes, or just a handful of stocks, and they know how the stock behaves. They know how the people who tend to trade the same stock tend to trade it differently. So each stock kind of has its own little character. So all right, here we are. The gap here, will it pull back as far as the 75% line today? I don't know. And then let's see. I've got another fib retracement down here. Let's see, where's that? Oh yeah, okay. Yep, this is okay. So this is the fib. Yeah, Tata Motors is one that popped up just about a week ago or so. And so here's the Fibonacci from the open on the 7th of October, and here's the close on the 6th of October. And so actually this Fibonacci makes more sense than the one that I just wrote. So a pullback to 28.29, that would be probably a pretty good entry. So yeah, I'm going to put this is the 10-minute. I'm going to put an alarm at 28.29. Let me make sure it's at 28.29. All right. If it pulls all the way back to that, I'd be surprised to see it pull all the way back to that. But if it does, it looks like it would be a good entry. We'll see. It's possible it could open up and then just push past its open. And actually, that's probably a pretty good trade as well. If it opens, dips down, and then pushes past its open, that'd be a good spot to enter. Yeah, so I'll keep Tata Motors on watch. And I had no idea up until this morning that Tata Motors owned Land Rover and Jaguar. Okay. TARA, the news on TARA, new drug application acceptance, non-muscle invasive bladder cancer. So this is just the way they word it in the headlines. Let's see if they have a headline. And announces, yeah. Pretoria Therapeutics announces FDA clearance of investigational new drug application. For anybody that's new and signing, or not signing, but trading bio, what are these, small cap healthcare bio? I don't remember. Anyway, small cap biotech. The headlines can be misleading if you're not reading carefully. So it's not an actual, let's see, what do they call it? It's not an actual new drug, it's a new drug application. And so, okay, that's a milestone, but usually it doesn't mean too much. It might trade a little bit on that, but usually it just kind of pops up and then fails and moves back down again. WISA, this is one that I've traded quite some time ago. Oh yeah, okay. They're expecting a 200% year-over-year revenue growth in Q3. So when do they, let's see, when they report earnings again over here on the 17th of November. So yeah, we'll see what happens on the 17th of November then. It popped up a little bit on that news, but again, my experience with expectations, sales expectations is, let's see what happens at the earnings statement. Then Inmd, I remember, I don't like the headline on this one either. Let's see what it is. Okay, another expects record Q3 revenue of 93.5 to 94 million. And so this one, let's take a look at the daily here. Again, this is expected. So earnings is over here on the, that's strange, on the 12th of October. That's supposed to be today. Why does it look like it's so far away? When I click on it, it says date 12th of October, but it's positioned all the way over here on the 9th. Let's see if there's another news. Yeah. When does it report? October 26th. The company is expected to release Q3 results on October 26th. Okay. So then let's see what happens on October 26th. Right now, what I see is a stock that went parabolic and then starting to correct. You see that? Kind of went parabolic there and now is starting to correct. And so this bump right here to, this pre-market bump, I expect it to do pretty much nothing more than gap up and sell off. We'll see what happens on October 26th, And so that's pretty much it. I only have really there's NTRB and TTM are the only two stocks that I'm really interested in trading today. TARA, no. WISA, no. Inmd, no. They're up here. I have them on watch, so in case for some reason they start trading like crazy, the level 2 starts, going nuts and people are jumping in it, then I'll look for a trade, but otherwise just NTRB and TTM are pretty much all I'm looking at today. Then let's see, we've got the dollar. I've got a risk range on the dollar here. High end is at 94.48 and it's poking through it right now. Actually, it poked through it just a few minutes ago. Now it's falling back down below it. And the low end of the dollar is at 92.79. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens if the dollar breaks through. I mean, the dollar's showing a lot of strength here. It's expected the tapering is expected to end, and rates are headed up. Oil is also sort of on the march, and so when commodities and oil in particular, since it's the commodity that gets traded the absolute most, incredible amounts of dollars are required when oil prices go up. More dollars are required in order to purchase and trade oil. So the dollar's strengthening. Between rates rising and oil rising, there's demand for dollars. So if the SPY opened up right now, the SPY would open up 0.19% higher than the previous close. I don't know, not really a whole lot going on here. Could change. I think it kind of depends on the VIX here. So yesterday, the VIX dipped down and bounced off of this 1821 area, which is the top of the gap, from a gap that was put in place in February of 2020. Here's the top of the gap. Here's the bottom of the gap. So to see the VIX work its way back down below the gap and then back into the mid-teens here would be really bullish for the SPY. And we'll see what happens. So the VIX had sort of 3 shots at really going down into the teens here and staying there, and it couldn't do it. So there's this period here in June, period in late June, and then this period in August where the VIX, could have come down and stayed below and gotten really bullish on the markets, but it didn't do that. So now there's been this spike and somewhat sustained height of volatility. I actually expect this to stick around until the political BS in Washington really, politicians these days really think they're a lot more important than they actually are, and it's unfortunate that we're giving in to them so much. I really, the only reason Washington, D.C. is somewhat as influential as it is on commerce and so on is because we're kind of letting them be a bunch of, we ought to be taking power away from D.C. in order to be able to, just be back on track as a nation. But anyway, okay. Bitcoin looks like it's consolidating in this area right around here. Let's see, the last run up right here took 1, 2, 3, 4 days for it to then resolve. Back here, it ran up and took 1, 2, 3 days for it to resolve roughly. So we'll see what happens with Bitcoin 3 or 4 days. And then let's see, B&O. This is one. Oof. So back down between 21.98, back down below 21.98. I think we're back down below that. I'm gonna have to let go of the position I have on B&O today. If it's back down below 21.98, then it's in the energy trade has gotten so crowded. We'll see what happens today. But I think I'm probably gonna let go of my B&O contracts. All right, everybody, good luck out there. Keep your risk tight. Click like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, tap the bell, and I will see you at today's recap. I am out.